Okay. Today we're going to start Daf Lamed Amud Aleph. It's really in the middle of the page. Amar of Papa. You see there's three sets of lines. There's the widest, wide, skinny lines. Well, this is 6 lines up. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines up from the middle lines. We thank Hashem that we're able to learn Torah every day. Discuss about learning, we should have the base of Mikdash immediately. So learning for Shlema, Father, Tali, and Menucha Bela. And for Ariel, Gabriel, and Rachel. Hi.
Thank you.
Okay. So it begins like this. Amar of Papa, Le'amar al Damazik Tuvabel, Mazik Mazik Shasi. We've been talking about wine. We had two concerns with wine. One was that it was the non-Jewish wine, right? The Ayanessa, idolatrous. Other one was maybe a snake had drunk from it. We said that by certain wines the snake won't drink from. Certain wines the idolater won't pour. So, for example, yayin mevushal, if it's cooked, the idolater won't use it. And we said if it's mixed, the snake won't drink from it. So Amar Rav Papa says, Layamara, and when do we say the snake won't drink from it? El Damasik Tuva, that's only if it's very mixed. That means it's very diluted. A lot of water. The snakes like their wine strong. Aval mazik v'lay mazik, but if it's mixed mixed with water, shasi, then the snake would drink from it. I mean, how they getting into it? Oh, snakes. Mazik v'lay mazik, they would drink from it. In those, they would only not drink from it if it's very diluted, but they would still drink from it if it's sort of diluted, which is a concern because the venom of the snake could be harmful. Gemara asks, "Mazik v'lei mazik mishasi? Would they drink from it if it's just partially mixed?" You're telling me that they would drink from it. The snake would drink from. But Rabba bar Rav Huna havikasel ba'arba. Rabba bar Rav Huna was on a boat. And he brought wine with him on the boat. He sees a snake that's slithering, it's cutting through the water, and it's coming. He says to his servant, his assistant, blind this snake. Now, blind the snake means that make him go away by showing him something disgusting. Well, Shakil Kalimaya Shadibay V'Sar. He took a drop of water and he threw it into the wine, and then the snake turned away. Well, what we're seeing from here is that the snake did not approve of the water going into the wine, even though it was just a drop. The snake didn't want to drink from it. So why does Rav Papa tell me that if there's a drop of water in it, then the snake will drink from it? It's only when it's very diluted. Here we see that the snake turned away from Rabba bar Rav Huna. Even with a drop of water, he wasn't interested. The Gemara answers, Achaya Maser Nafshay. If it's undiluted at all, then he would drink from it even with Mesiras Nefesh. The snake has Mesiras Nefesh. The snake self-sacrifice for to drink the wine, to expose himself, what he's doing in public, in order to get the undiluted wine. But a maziga, but once it's mixed a little bit, like Maser Nafshay, he won't risk his life to come in front of people to drink once it's diluted. The truth is, what we're saying is that if the people aren't around, the snake would still drink from it. And that's our concern. That just because it's mixed doesn't mean that you can automatically drink from it. Because it could be that the snake will drink from the wine that's mixed. Only it's very diluted, the snake won't drink from it.
You're hiking, camping, the animals always wait for you.
They wait for you to leave, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So the bottle was like that, and I left it. I didn't have to pour it out. And then
Show everyone. Here, Hillel left the. He showed us that there's a bottle of water here that doesn't have the cover on it. Exhibit A. So.
And I just left it there.
Okay, it's interesting because when water is exposed, we say there is a concern of the snake. When wine is exposed, we say there is a concern that the snake would drink from it. Now we have a mixture of water and wine, and we say that there's no concern. It's interesting, no? But now the Gemara asks, the snake won't risk his life to be exposed if it's diluted. But Rabbi Yanai have a Beach Buri. He was in the city of Beach Buri. And some say Bar Hadiya was there. Bar Hadiya is this interesting character. He was the dream interpreter in Maseches Brachos, at the end of Maseches Brachos. It's Bar Hadiya. Then we had Bar Hadiya somewhere else in Gittin. I don't remember exactly what, but apparently from Brachos I thought he wasn't Jewish, but from other places it looks like he is Jewish. Anyway, he's sitting and drinking wine. He's drinking mixed wine. They were sitting and drinking. Yasvi. There was a little wine left over in the barrel. They covered it with a cloth. The way they would seal something is, I don't know if they had rubber bands back then, but they would put a cloth over it and then they would tie it shut. They would tie it. Well, the shakal maya, Rama bekuva, the moli bekuva, the salik hamre lave parvanka v'shasi. Very interesting. What he did was like this. He had it's covered with a cloth. So he kept adding water. The snake was adding water into it through the cloth so that it overflowed. And then the wine started to overflow the cloth and he was able to drink it. Now, but how's he getting the wine out? He's putting water in to get it out. And he's doing this in public. So you see, even on mixed wine with water, he's willing to risk his life. The snake is going to come in front of people to be able to drink that wine. Amri, they answered like this. Mazig iu shasi. If he's the one that's mixing it, then he'll drink from it. If he knows the yeah, I guess once it's diluted, then you don't know what it is. That's what it is. But he knows what's diluting it, so it's fine, right? So then he would drink from it. So that would be a concern. But normally, back to our answer, that once the wine is mixed, he won't expose himself in public, but that still is a concern if there was left in private, or if people went to sleep or something. That would still be a concern.
The only one that came up with Zara is Jerusalem.
This is Edie. I'm talking about Bar Hadiya. Okay. Amar Ravashi. Rashi says, Vitim Rav Mesharsha. Some say it was Rav Mesharsha. Peruka L'Sakanta. What are you trying to do? You're trying to give answers to things that are dangerous. Let's just avoid it at all costs. Don't play around with this. That's what Ravashi is saying. Amar Rava says, Hilchasa, the halacha is Yayin Mazag Yesh B'Mishum Gilei. Wine that was diluted still has the problem of being exposed, and a snake maybe drank from it and put his venom in it. Yesh B'Mishum Yayin Nesach. And also has a concern that maybe the idolater poured it. They would pour. It's interesting because before, when the Gemara was discussing this, we said in the name of Shmuel. Was it Shmuel? No, it was Rabba and Rabbi Yosef that said this first. They said that wine that's exposed has a problem of gilui. It's a problem of the venom, of the venomous snake. Yain mevushal, cooked wine, doesn't have a concern of yain nesach. They didn't mention what happens yain nesach with pouring the wine if it's exposed. They didn't. Rabbi and Rabbi Yosef didn't mention that. The Gemara then asks, cooked wine, does that have a problem of exposed, of the venomous snake? We said that it does. Actually, we said that it doesn't. It doesn't have a problem of. And that's when he said, on my shoulders. Rabbi Yanai Bar Shmuel said, on my shoulders. Right, that you can rely on me, that it's not going to have a problem. But comes along now Rava, and he adds in, interesting, he adds in this extra point, that diluted wine still has a concern of yayin nesach. Yayin mevushal, but cooked wine, ein by mishum gilev, ein by mishum yayin nesach. Doesn't have a concern, like we said before, does not have a concern of exposure for the venom of the snake. And also, there's no problem of yayin nesach once it's cooked. Shamid Rav Chilkiah bar Tuvi, the assistant of Rav Chilkiah bar Tuvi, igloya ukista demaya. He had a jug of water that was left open. And he was sleeping next to it. Asal Gabe, Rav Chilkiah bar Tuvi, he comes to his boss, Rav Chilkiah bar Tuvi, Amalei, and he tells him about his story. He says, I left it open. He says, Hari Amru, they said, Emas Yoshan Aleyan. The snakes don't come if there's a person that's sleeping next to them. They have fear of a sleeping person. V'hani mili, but that's only biyamama, by day. Aval balel yalai. But by night, they'll come if people are sleeping. So by day, they won't come. They think you're just going to wake up and catch them in the act and put a pin through their head. Like Rabbi Akiva, remember that story? But that was unknowingly. He put the pin through that. Anyway, but they won't come by day. But by night, they'll come if a person is sleeping there. It says v'loihi, but it's actually not so. Whether by day or by night, the fear of a sleeping person we do not say. In other words, they'll come if the person's asleep. They can tell he's asleep, and they'll come and drink the wine or water. Rav leishasi mi be'arma. Rav would not drink in the house of an Aramean. He wouldn't drink, not wine, he wouldn't drink water. Amar, he says, Blazahiri begili. They're not careful. They don't know the laws well about exposure, and they wouldn't drink their water. Maybe our Malta, but let's say in the house of a widow, also maybe doesn't know the halachas of gilui well. Shasi, he would drink. Amar, he says, the husband probably knew the laws, and she's keeping the same customs that she always kept. Now she's a widow, but she still knows what her husband would have allowed and wouldn't allow. Shmuel, he wouldn't drink water in the house of a widow. Amar, Leslie said the Gavra, she doesn't have fear of her husband, and she's going to leave the water exposed. But from the house of a Aramean, Shasi, he would drink. Shmuel had his friend Avlet. Maybe he would drink water by Avlet. Nehi da giloi like kapti, I'm going to accuse me of kapti, even though they're not careful about giloi, but they're careful about cleanliness. So they would still cover, even, in other words, it wasn't because of giloi that they were concerned about. It was more concerned about cleanliness, and they would keep it covered. Non-Jews, yeah. No, it's just water. You only toivel a vessel when you buy it.
They're non-Jews, they don't do it.
No, because non-Jews don't toivel vessels.
So then how would the Jew drink water?
No, because it's not yours. You only need to toivel something that you purchase. You don't need to toivel someone else's or not.
Allowed to drink.
Concept, no. The concept of toiveling is that when you purchase a vessel from a non-Jew, you have to convert it. Just like a person can convert, the vessel convert. But if it's not being converted, if it's his vessel, then you don't have to toivel. It's his.
I thought we weren't.
Yeah, that's why
allowed to
certain
drink water.
items, like on Shabbos, let's say, where if you have a vessel that wasn't used, that wasn't toiveled, you want to use it, so you can, and you can't toivel a vessel on Shabbos. It's different. It's fixing it. So you can give it to a non-Jew and then use it. Give it to the janitor.
I thought that we weren't allowed to drink water in any vessel that was not.
No. So you can go to a sometimes go to a hotel lobby or something. They pour you soda or something. Go to bowling alley. Give you like a drink over there. You can drink from their vessels. Cold. It's clean. You assume it's clean. That's the.
Most of the time they give you a disposable, so that's why.
Right. But even if they give you in a glass. Yeah. So,
Rabbi,
some people,
quick question. Just on
Yeah.
toiveling, the case with the Shabbos. I thought if you have a vessel that was not toiveled, you can use it once, but then you have to toivel it before the second time. Is there such a thing? Because that's what I heard.
but I understood where that comes from because it doesn't really say that. My understanding where that comes from is that today they sell you a bottle of apple juice, like a glass bottle. They sell it to you. So if you're going to be very strict about toiveling, when you buy the bottle together with the juice, right? You buy it together with the juice. You're allowed to finish it. You don't have to empty the juice and toivel it and then put the juice back in. You're allowed to finish it, to empty it out. You don't have to, right? I think that's where it comes from, where that thing is. You're allowed to use it once. I think it means you're allowed to use this bottle that you just bought to empty it. But the concept of you buy something in the store, you buy in what's the store? What's where they sell the not Bed Bath and Beyond? They sell you like things, house items. So you buy something there, and then you want to just I'm just going to use it once. That would be a problem, I think. I think you really have to toivel it before you use it once.
That's like the yeshiva. Some people just say, "Oh, like the first time it's okay."
Yeah, but they meant the reason why someone said the first time it's okay was coming from that you're allowed to empty the bottle. Like you're allowed to empty this. By the way, there's an interesting heter. If you want to reuse a bottle, let's say if you want to reuse a bottle, so some people would toivel it because they emptied out the apple juice. Now they want to use it for whatever they want. Some people would toivel it, but some place can say that you don't have to toivel it because since that bottle is disposable, so who's making it into a vessel? Person that wants to keep it. So now that it's made by a Jew, it doesn't need tefillah because it's a glass bottle. Yeah, some people would toivel it. Some people would say you really don't have to toivel it because the Jew, it's a disposable bottle. You don't need. You don't. They made it for one use, and afterwards you just throw it in the garbage. You decided to take something from the garbage and use it. You're the one that's making it into a continuous, a permanent vessel. And if a Jew makes it, then that's a leniency that they have. If it's difficult to toivel, it's probably better to toivel. But if it's difficult, I probably I don't know. It's not a halacha share. Okay. Well, okay, so we learned the opinion of Rab, we learned the opinion of Shmuel. Shmuel says, he would not drink from a widow. She won't cover it. She won't cover it because her husband's not here. Her husband is deceased. But from a non-Jew, an Aramean, Shmuel would drink. But they're not careful about gila, but they're still careful about cleanliness, and they would put the cap back on their bottle. Ikadarmi, there are those that said this differently. Rav that Rav would drink. This is the same. He would not drink from a non-Jew, but he would drink from a widow. Shmuel wouldn't drink from either. What switches here is that Shmuel wouldn't drink from the Aramean either. That's what switches in the Ikadamni. What did you see in the Ben Ish Chai? Did we learn it already?
No,
it's coming up. Okay. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Rabbi Yeshua ben Levi. Yeshua ben Levi is an Amora. Probably like first, second generation Amora in Eretz Yisrael. He says, Shalish Yenesein, Bein Ben Mishum Gili. There's 3 types of wine that you don't have a concern about the snake drinking from it. Be'elohein. Here are the 3 types. Chad, sharp wine. Mar, bitter wine. Maseches, sweet wine. Sounds like all the types of wine, right? So chad, when you say it's sharp, chad means 1, but it also means sharp. Tila, the charifa, the matzuzika. This is so sharp. It says it's called tila, sharp tila type of wine that breaks the flask. It's so sharp that it could burst. The flask could burst. Mar, what's the bitter wine? Yarnica. Yarnica doesn't tell us. I'm sure the article just says Yarnica. Rashi doesn't really explain. It just says that it's a very bitter wine.
They just have that it's inferior.
Inferior. Yes. Rashi says inferior also. Okay. What's next over here? Masak. Sweet wine says is chulia. Rashi says that it's the grapes were very sweet, and but it makes an inferior sort of wine. Usually we say that the higher sugar content in the grapes makes a higher quality wine, right? That's what we usually say. More alcohol, but here he's saying that it sweetens in the It's sweetened by the sun, yeah. But then it becomes it becomes too sweet, and that's what it looks like. Well, Rav Chama, Menashevetz, right? Rav Chama Masni Leiluya. Rav Chama, he has these 3 types of wine, but he doesn't say anything negative about them. He has it on the contrary. He says positive. Chad, why is the wine sharp? Chamar upilpelin. It's wine that's mixed with pepper. It's like a fancy wine, like a dessert wine. Mar apisintin. Pisintin. It's also a fancy type of wine. I don't know what it is. Rashi only has a French word here. Yeah, does it say over there what it is?
Yeah.
It's a Persian wine?
Persian, footnote 35. Oh, sorry.
Here they say in their language note, Pisintin from the Greek apicinthion, a wine spiced with wormwood. This drink is still prepared nowadays and is known as absinthe.
I think that could make people.
Oh, really? Absinthe? Want to Google that?
They don't sell it here, but they sell like fake.
Absinthe.
That's a green one.
What is it?
It's green.
It's green? Oh, maybe that's where they got the name Yarka. But no, that would be the other one. 1 second. Oh, wow. It's expensive. Yeah, absinthe is a green anise flavored liquor with a high alcohol content. It's made from wormwood, anise, and other herbs like fennel. Gets its color from the herbs. The drink is nicknamed the Green Fairy. It's a bitter taste that some say is similar to black licorice. Absinthe was invented in Switzerland in the late 18th century and became popular with artists. Well,
18th century.
18th century. So it's, I guess, it's illegal. Why is it illegal? It was banned in many places about the potential psychoactive effects of, I don't even know how to pronounce that, Sujun, the compound found in wormwood. It's safe to consume in moderation, like everything else. Okay. Very interesting. So we have these 3 types of wine. Apparently, these are the good ones. Masak, what's the sweet one? Is made barg. Interesting. Barg is a Persian word for superior. With the name Berg. means superior in Persian. Amr Rab Shimon ben Lakish. So it means it's the superior wines, even though it's superior, but the snake doesn't like it. He wants his Menashevitz. Wants his cheap wines. Amr Rab Shimon ben Lakish. Karina ein ben mishum gilei. I don't know what Karina is. Karina, Rashi says, is the sweet one. Chalia Masuk, like we said before, that sweet wine. My Karina, what's Karina? Amr Rabavo, Chamra Chalia da Asim Asya. It's this inferior wine that comes from Asia. Asia, I think they meant Turkey. I think they meant like Asia Minor. In Yiddish.
Oh, wait, here.
So when you go to Persian, so methods.
Oh, nice. Yeah, Rashi meant Yiddish. Rashi didn't have Yiddish, except according to those Hasidim that say that Adam Rishon spoke Yiddish. Gan Eden. Okay. Amar Rava, however, in Asia, people would not people, the animals, the snakes would still drink from it. My time, Medino, that's the classical drink over there. In other words, even though snakes in Miami won't drink Chamra Chalia, but snakes in Asia would drink Chamra Chalia because that's Chamar Medina. That's the classic drink over there. Amar Rava. Rava says, "Hi Chamra da Akrim." If once the wine starts to sour, the first 3 days, it still has a concern that maybe the snake drank from it if you would leave it open. Mishum yayin nesach, it also has a concern of yayin nesach because the goyim would still pour it. What does your shirt say?
This shirt saves lives. When Brody's child relapse, so they don't charge a penny. Put the family up, treatment, and then they save. So I know, give $19 a month. And you just tunnels to towers, $11 a month, even these $36,000. You know what I mean? So I'm on this thing, $19 a month.
Very nice.
It's my parents went to Florida and they brought me back to
Tizkal mitzvahs. That's beautiful. Mikan ve'elach, but after 3 days.
I've had it for a while. I just don't wear it.
After 3 days, then it's already gone so sour that the snakes won't drink from it, and the goyim won't pour it on for their idols either. Nardoi Amri. Nardoi says, who was saying this? This was Rava. Nardoi says, even after 3 days there's a concern. My time, Zimrin Mikri Shasi. It still happens. It still happens. You know, once in a while, you don't want to risk it. You know, the children don't always get like the concerns about danger. Someone telling someone to wear a seatbelt. He says, "Look, this is a kid. He says, if I thought something was happening, then I wouldn't even come into the car. Coming into the car because I'm not expecting anything to happen. Now I have to wear a seatbelt. Like, yeah, it's logical, right? You don't understand that you do what you can to prevent anything, and you know that's what you have to do. So
why is it whenever we bring Nahar you know, I assume that's where the yeshiva was Nahar
Shmuel was in Nardai, but after Shmuel, Nardai was destroyed. They opened up a yeshiva in Pumbedisa.
But
I think after that, after it was opened in Pumbedisa, I think something else opened up in Nardai as well.
But I'm saying whenever we bring it, we bring them like, oh, but it was different. They did. Is that? I mean, they're on the Euphrates. And did they have different hogging there? Why is they always the one that's like, oh, Nardai? This is how they did it. Yeah, but it's it's like they're always picking that on that. We're using them as the example.
So Nardai Amri is actually a specific Nardai. Well, Dayani Nardai was Rav Papa Bar Shmuel. Let me just see who's Nardai Amri.
You also listen to Rav Nachman.
Rav Chama, Rav Yosef, Rabba and Rav Yosef. No, the Pumpadisa
That's Rav Yehuda.
is Rabba and Rav Yosef. Mirai de Nardai is Rav Chama. Rav Chama. Yeah, so we have like a person that was there that when it says it's a code name for, you know. Okay. Where are we holding? Do we do my time? Yeah. Okay, we're up to a new piece over here. Here I have that Gemara is here. Tan Rabbanan. Yayin Taisis. You may be even on the right page. Yeah, it's right over here. Southern Abraisa, Yayin Taisis, wine that is still fermenting. Taisis means like it's still bubbling. Ain by Mishum Gile. There's no problem with the snakes drinking from it. You don't have to worry about the venom. You could drink from it if you're so inclined. Kamet Sisasai. How long does it take? Does this bubbling take? Gimayam, it takes 3 days. Hashachlayim, when they're soaking the cress, which was that type of grass. Ain by Mishum Gile. There's no problem with the snake drinking from it. The snakes don't drink from it. However, people from the exiles are more careful about it. That's only if there's no vinegar in it. The vinegar fights off the poison of the snake. Actually, it says the vinegar fights off the snake itself. The snake doesn't like to drink from it. It affects the palate of the snake. Huh?
Sure.
Rashi says, "Nilcham b'chakon shal nachashim." It looks like the top of the mouth. Top of the mouth. It hurts the top of the mouth.
One says that it makes with the grass, it's with the like.
But we just said that about this buchala migra. They don't like it. Check if you're on the which note you're on. Are you on the first one or the
Alternative. They say that they like the combination. Tracks.
oh, it tracks snakes?
Yeah, like that.
Migribu. I thought it meant migribu means it's
Here it says here. It says both. Rashi writes
misgara.
first thing that you covered is up here in brackets. It's what they're private.
Antagonizes snakes.
Both of Rashi and Tosfos Shabbos.
Oh, alternatively. Oh, okay. Taisa Shabbos, yeah. Okay.
Both.
Okay, so yeah, this could go either way. Kuta Chabavli, this is the Babylonian. It's not a beer; it's like a dip. Those that learned Yeridea know that Kuta was this major thing in halacha. It was like it was made from milk, the whey of milk. It also had in it a lot of salt and had breadcrumbs. And it's brought in halacha a lot. The bird fell into kutach, everything. Back then it was like the classic. It was like the Israeli like babena. It's like that's what they all the yoga. That's what everyone was eating, and it's like came up a lot. Well, kutach habavli imbe mishum gilek. There's no problem about a snake drinking from that. Bnei Goyla nogabem misr. However, the Bnei Goyla, they're more careful about it. They would make sure it's covered or they won't eat it. Amar of Menashe says, Yispunakuri cheshinan. Only if you see that there's bite marks on it or something like that, probably tongue marks on it, then you should be concerned. Otherwise, You don't have to worry if it looks like, you open up the new yogurt, you see on the top imagine you open a new yogurt and you see there's like a spoon or a bite teeth in the huh? Yeah, you'd return it, right? So those days of us they didn't return for that. Okay, you're missing a little bit. Amar Rav Chia Barash, no extra charge. Amar Chia Barashi Amar Shmuel, made tif im mishum gilui. If there's a bucket that the water is dripping on it, drip drop, right? There's no problem. The snakes don't drink from that. They keep hearing the noise. Amar Rav Ashi Vudav tif ladi tif. That's only if the drops are coming consecutive, not if it's there's big breaks in between. Something has a leak. That's not going to do it. It has to be drip like that. Then the snakes don't come. I'm Rav Chia Barash.
Sounds like my force.
I'm Rav Chia Barashi. I'm Rav Shmuel. Rav Chia Barashi says in the name of Shmuel. It's interesting because Rav Chia Barashi I thought was by Rav. Anyway, he says the name of Shmuel. Pitei name of Mishum Gilui. The opening on a fig. I don't know if that means the top or the bottom. Connected to the stem. That's usually closed. The stem, right? It opens up on the bottom, usually. Like the softer part of the fig is on the bottom. Anyway, whatever the case is, the snakes don't drink from that. They don't eat from the fig. Come on, like who? Ki Aitana, it follows the opinion of this Tanya, the Tanya, Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer says, Rabbi Eliezer goes back to the days of right after the destruction. He says, a person is allowed to drink, is allowed to eat grapes and figs at night. Doesn't have to be concerned because Hashem guards the fools. And which means that what you don't know doesn't hurt. That's what it means.
I think this thing with the fig is because we just said that if there's openings, meaning from the bite marks, you can't touch it. And figs normally have that opening. You might think, I can't touch a fig because it's openings. That's what it sounds like.
Interesting.
Clarification.
Amar of Safra. Safra says, Mishum Rabbi Yeshua Drema. In the name of Rabbi Yeshua Drema. Rabbi Yeshua of the south. Shlish Mini Arasim. I guess it's not the Rabbi Yeshua ben Chananya that we usually quote. Must be a later one. There's three types of poison. Shel Bacher, if the snake is a young snake, a Bacher, a bachelor. Shekeya, so the venom is very heavy and it sinks to the bottom of the barrel. Shel Beinani, if he's middle-aged, then Mefafeya, it's hanging around in the middle. It's like bubbling. Shel Zakin, if it's an old snake, tough, it floats to the top. Am I getting this correct? Is this the way they're explaining it? It floats to the top. But Meimra, is this to say the kama the kashish, kachash chele? Does this mean to say that the older the snake gets, the weaker it gets? And that means like the young one, it's strong, it's heavy, venom, it goes to the bottom. But Tanya, we have a brisa that says differently. It's a shleisha. There's three things. Calls man shemaskinim, bura mitesefespem. As the older they get stronger. Elohein, and they are dog, nachash, v'chazir, a fish, a snake, and a pig. You're telling me that as they get older, they get weaker. It's as they get older, they get stronger. As koyach asufa yudakamaysev. They actually do get stronger. What does asufa mean? It increases their strength. Koyach asufa yudakamaysev. The strength, it increases. Zire, but its poison, kalish, gets weaker. The poison gets weaker, but the strength gets stronger. So why are you telling me that a young snake, a bachelor, his venom sinks to the bottom? Why is that significant? The Tanya was taught in a brisa. If there's a barrel that's left open, even though 9 people drank from it, see, very clear. It's not. Look, this is healthy. He did a scientific experiment. Mesa, when none of them died, the 10th person shouldn't drink from it because the venom was on the bottom. Yeah? More dent. The 10th 10th person died. Yeah, it's going to be very difficult to do scientific experiments if you take this sort of logic, right?
I think
There's a famous puzzle for that,
Oh, yeah.
of the bottle of wine that's you have 10 servants drinking, and there's one poison bottle, and you have 100 bottles. And I can never figure out. My son knows the formula.
it should be here. Yes, it's in the bottom.
Right, right. It's on the bottom. Okay. Do you want to be one of the first 10? First
No,
9?
I'm okay. I don't drink.
It's fine. Don't worry, the poison sank. Don't worry, you can drink it. Rabbi Yirmiyah says, that's what it means, that it sinks. Also a watermelon. I don't know if it was watermelon, some type of melon. Rashi says malafafine, which is a cucumber, right? Malafafine melon. The Ran says watermelon. Okay, I'm surprised the article says that. The article would just like give me the Ran's word. Yeah, the Hebrew word. Even if 9 people already ate from it, and they didn't die, the 10th person, this obviously was cut open and it was left open overnight. Now the 10th person should need for it. The 10th person that died, it sunk to the bottom. Amar Rebbe, maybe Amar Rav. So Shekeh, it's an abbreviation, so I don't know who it is. That's what they say, Rabbi Danasi? Uh-huh. Okay, the Tanya was in the Brisa, so it's Rabbi Danasi. That was it's interesting because this is not a Brisa. The Chavis, the barrel is a Brisa. Okay. Tanur Rabbanan. Taught in the Brisa, water that was left exposed and it possibly has poison in it, so that you can't pour it in a public area. What's the problem? It's just on the floor. Maybe someone is going to walk barefoot and it's going to get stuck between his toes, and it can end up penetrating through the skin. I missed sorry, what page? Okay, we're on 30B, and we're towards the bottom. 30B in the article. What B2? That sounds like a vitamin.
Big thing in Europe. My parents always said, if I was barefoot, can't go.
What was the word? Borbisarate.
Yeah, maybe mispronounced, but it meant barefoot. Because I always thought it was superstition. I don't know, maybe the word, if you went barefoot, you could catch something.
Right. But to walk barefoot?
Kids, they all nowadays.
Wear shoes.
Can't get any shoes. My grandkids.
You can't get off the bed without shoes.
Oh, really?
You make them. Yeah, same type thing. But I'm saying I can't. My grandkids always walking around barefoot. I have to chase them.
There's like the hippie type people are into like walking barefoot, all of that. They make it look like, oh, this was the way it always was back in the day, like. Yeah, but not in the last few thousand years. So the shoes were very important.
They didn't have tetanus shots back then, so people's lives were in danger. Stuck on a rusty thing.
Yeah, especially because the tetanus was from the animals, I think, was from the manure and stuff. Would get on there.
No, tetanus is from a bacteria.
Yeah, but it gets from the manure, it attaches to the rust. So,
I just know it's in dirt and rust. This person who works soil.
But you have to find out if it comes from. That's why when they say, where was it? And they say it was rusty. They say, but where was it? Was it inside or was it outside?
Where do you get tetanus from?
I digress.
All right.
No, but how does it get
Bacteria
into
live
the?
in soil, dust, saliva, and manure. If an open wound or cut is exposed, the spores can
Okay.
bacteria.
Okay, so you have to be careful not to pour this water into a public place. Someone could walk barefoot. You can't wash the floor of the house with this water. Say, oh, we'll use it for the mop. Nope, you can't do that. And Yarbitz actually, Rashi says that you would spray it on the ground so the dust doesn't come out. You can't use it to mix mortar. You can't feed your animal or your friend's animal. We can't use it for washing your hands. Yeah, the Rambam actually writes that can't your negelvasser needs to be covered according to the Rambam. Use it to wash your hands. People careful about that? I don't think so. With the lid, yeah. I don't think people are careful. Mothers say, if there's a crevice, then it's usher. Ain't sirta mutter. When it comes to washing, that's where it's going to be a problem if there's some sort of crevice, because the water is going to sit over there and then get absorbed into the body. But if there's no crevice, it's not a problem. Gemara says, one second, the Tanakama says you can't wash your face, your hands and feet. And by the way, the hands, face, and feet have crevices. On the hand, you have like the wrinkles that when you hold your hand, that could get stuck in there, could sit over there.
Or a smile.
Oh, inside the hand when you. Oh. Okay. So the Gemara answers, no, there are parts of the hand, back of the hand, top of the hand, and the top of the foot, which don't have any crevices, and also the upper part of the cheek that doesn't have any crevices. But then maybe you'll just like put it on, and it won't stay there. So according to the Achirim, that should be allowed. According to the Tanakama, it's still aser. Amar Mar, you can't give to your animal to drink or to your friend's animal. He said, but he's allowed to feed it to his own animal. It says kitani l'shunra. That's talking about a cat. Apparently, the cats have 9 lives. No, that's not what it says. Apparently, the cats can survive the venom, snake venom. So that's not a problem.
They're always catching snakes.
Huh?
Catching snakes.
Right.
And biting.
Yeah.
I find headless snakes in my yard. From the feral cats.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Cover your negelvasser.
You like play with
Big
this.
quarter. You like playing with yarn and string because it's similar.
Yeah.
Snake.
You play with the what?
The string and yarn.
Well,
It looks
cat
maybe
does,
like a
not
snake to them.
Right.
It's a natural thing.
Wow.
More than dogs. Dogs don't do it.
So if it's not a concern about to feed it to a cat, your own cat, the chavri nami, why can't you feed it to? When it says your own animal, you're allowed to feed it. When we're talking about a cat, the cat doesn't have the problem. So your friend's cat also. Says the chavri kachish. If you're going to feed it to your friend, it does get weaker after it eats it. So it says didei nami kachish, and you shouldn't feed it to your own. It's going to get weaker. It says hadar bari, it gets healthier again. It doesn't kill it; it makes it stronger. It says the chavri nami hadar bari. So then your friend also, you feed it to your friend. It's also going to make it stronger. It says zimnin the boil zvuni mafla. You can't make that calculation for your friend because your friend may be selling his cat. And exactly the moment that the guy comes to buy it, he sees that it's laying on its side, weak, because you happen to feed it the water that had the snake poison in it. So for your own things, you can make that calculation that it's not going to kill it, it's going to make it stronger. But for your friend, you can't do that. You may want to sell it. Yehuda ben Beseira. Oh, ben Beseira. There's 3 wines. The strictest of the wines is wine that was poured for an idol. This you can't have any benefit from. And not only that, but it has the most strict type of tumah. It will actually give off impurity, just like a corpse. But carrying it, and also under the same roof, under a tent, make a person impure. Because this is a offering to an idol. It's compared to a corpse. So in the measurement of a corpse is a kazayas, is an olive size. Stam yenam, the next level. Wine that belongs to a non-Jew, which was not poured for an idol, but we have a decree that you don't drink wine from a non-Jew because maybe it's poured for, right? It's not like it actually was, but maybe. Then it's asr ba'ana. You can't have benefit from it. However, it doesn't have the strict, severe laws, but it does give off an impurity of liquids, which give off an impurity to other types of foods. If the liquid touches other foods, not vessels or humans, but other types of foods, it will make them impure. And also over here, it's not a kazayas, but it's a revius, a larger measurement. A mafkid, and the third type is a mafkid yen. If you happen to give your wine to a non-Jew to watch, you're not allowed to drink it afterwards, but you can still have benefit from it. Bahatanan, 1 second. We have a Mishnah that says, Hamafkid peiraisav etzalavit kechavim arein kepeiraisav shalavit kechavim l'shvius l'maiser. If you give your produce to a non-Jew to watch, you have to be concerned that maybe he switched it with his own produce, and you have to be concerned about shvius and maiser that maybe it hasn't been fixed. It's a problem. So how can you trust him with your wine? Maybe he took some of your wine and he had it his own wine. We're talking about where the non-Jew designated a corner. Rashi adds in, based on the Gemara that's coming up, he also gave him a key to that corner. So, in other words, yeah, it's in his house, but you're the only one with the key. It's locked. Like? What's Pesach? We put it away. By Pesach, we put it, we're supposed to close it off when you have things things that you sold. Okay, here it's here.
But the guy has access to it, so you have to give him a key technically, or have to make sure he has access. But here it's the opposite, because the guy has it in his house.
But he doesn't have access, right? The guy.
No, the guy has it in his corner of his house. He's giving the Jew a key.
Right.
Gave the Jew the only key.
The only key. But when you sell your chametz, you don't give the Rav your only key. You give the Rav a copy of the key. You also have access to it. So it's not really.
You give him a lousy key.
Yeah. Walmart.
So. Key, big cow. Una level.
Right.
You gotta know Yiddish.
They said, what una level is the key? What
no, you're joking. He says, "Oh, I can speak Spanish," and then the guy goes, "Via aquí una level." It sounds Spanish, but it really means eat without a spoon in Yiddish. But it sounds like it's Spanish.
It's like they used to advertise for Rosetta Stone or something. It's easy to speak Spanish. How do you spell socks? S-O-C-K-S. Apparently that means something in Spanish. Okay, there goes that.
What happens to Rosetta Stone?
No, but the letters were supposed to spell. It was supposed to sound like a word. Okay, so it says if the guy gave you the key and you're the only one with the key, and therefore you can have benefit from it, why can't you drink it? The Rabbi Yechon in Niklal Perud, Rabbi Yechon went to the city of Perud. Amar, he said, Klum Yesh Mishnas Bar Kapara. Does anyone here remember the teachings of Bar Kapara? Bar Kapara had passed away already. Bar Kapara was a Tana, and Rabbi Yechon is a Meira. He went to Tana Le Rab Tanchem Demin Perud. Rab Tanchem of Perud was there. He said, "Yeah, I have a teaching of Bar Kapara." It says, "Hamafkid Yene Eitz Levit Kechavim Mutter B'Shtiya." that if someone gives his wine over to a non-Jew, he deposits it in his house, he's allowed to drink it. Rabbi Yochanan was so excited. He quoted the verse. He says, "Where the tree falls, that's where it is." Gemara says, "Sham yu salkadaitach." You think I need a pasuk to tell me where the tree falls? That's where it is. What's the chiddush? Sham yu peiraisav. The tree falls. That's where the fruits are, and which means that's where Bar Kapara passed away. That's where you can find his teachings, and they have a teaching. His teaching is that you're allowed to not only have enjoyment from the wine, but you're even allowed to drink the wine that was given. So the question is, why did we say before from Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira that you're not allowed to drink the wine?
That's right. We have the same. An apple doesn't fall far from a tree, which is but means something.
Right. Amar Reb Zara says like kasha. Can't ask a question over here, a contradiction, because how Rabbi Lezer Rabbanan. It's machlekes tanoim. So machlekes between Rabbi Lezer ben Horkenes and the Rabbanan. The Tanya was started in a brayse. Echad alekech v'echad asecher bayis b'chatzer shlevet kechavim. Whether you purchased or you rented a house inside the non-Jewish courtyard, right? You have a non-Jewish courtyard. That means there's a lot of houses there. It's like a complex. And you bought one house. You rented one house. Milu yayin. You filled it up with wine. Umafteach chaychaysim b'yad Yisrael. Either there's a seal or there's a key, there's a lock that has the Jew has it. Rabbi Lezer Mati, Rabbi Lezer says that you're allowed to drink from it. The Chum say you can't drink from it. Chum say that it's not enough that you have a key or a chaysim. So when we go back to Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira that says that you're only allowed to have enjoyment from it, but you're not allowed to drink it, that would be the opinion of the Rabbanan. When we talk about Bar Kapara that said you are allowed to, that would be the opinion of Rabbi Eliezer. Amar Rav Chia Breder Rav Chia bar Nachmeni. Amar Rav Chizda Amar Rav. Rav Chia, the son of Rav Chia bar Nachmeni, says in the name of Rav Chizda, says in the name of Rav. Barmilam Rav Chizda Amar Ziri. Barmilam Rav Chizda Amar Liaba bar Chama. Hachi Amar Ziri. There's a lot of versions to this statement. Halacha Rabbi Eliezer. The halacha is Rabbi Eliezer that says you're allowed to drink from the wine if you have a key or if you have a symbol on it called a chaysim. Chaysim is a seal. It's sealed. Amar Rabbi Eliezer says, now this could be very confusing because we have two we have a Rabbi Eliezer, who's Rabbi Eliezer ben Horkenes. He's a Tana. And we also have Rabbi Eliezer, who's Rabbi Eliezer ben Pedas. Rabbi Eliezer ben Pedas is going to argue with Rabbi Eliezer. So Rabbi Eliezer doesn't agree with Rabbi Eliezer. Now, if you don't realize that there's two different people there, this could be very confusing. So it's Amar Rabbi Eliezer says this is the Amayra, Rabbi Eliezer ben Pedas. Hakol mishtamer b'chaysim echad. Everything, you only need one seal. That's it. It's fine. You have bread, you have things, you're worried that it's from a non-Jew or whatever it is, all of those things. No, you have one seal on it, it's put in a bag with one knot, you're fine. Wine, that's not enough to have one seal. You say, well, it has the cork in it. That's not enough. You need to have another seal as well. Cork isn't enough. That's why the kosher wines, you have either the foil that goes over it, or they have the wax that goes on top of the cork.
It also has several hashgachas usually.
Yeah, but all of those hashgachas only work if you have the seal. Yeah.
Yeah, they still.
Rabbi Yochanan, all wines have the wax as well. Yeah.
No, the wax is just some companies prefer to seal it like that, just like there's some whiskeys that they use wax because that's the original.
Very interesting.
All wax
I thought it was all for kosher wine. Huh?
All wax has wine, but not all wine has wax.
Rabbi Yochanan Amar Afilu Yayin Mishtam B'Chaysim Echad. Rabbi Yochanan says you can even use one seal for wine. B'lei pligi. There's no machlek. It's interesting because Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi Eliezer are a teacher student or a teacher friend. Chavrusa. They were chavrusa for a little bit. B'lei pligi, but there's no machlek. Zakar Rabbi Eliezer Karabanan. Rabbi Yochanan isn't arguing with Rabbi Eliezer. Rabbi Eliezer isn't arguing with Rabbi Yochanan. They're quoting the different opinions, Rabbi Eliezer or the Rabbanan. Rabbi Eliezer is being quoted by Rabbi Yochanan, and Rabbi Eliezer is quoting the Rabbanan. They didn't match it up the way it would easy to remember. They did it the opposite. Ikadamri, those that say Rabbi Lazar, everything needs two seals. Even two seals don't work according to Rabbi Lazar. You have to be standing there the whole time with the wine. You can't just send it in the Uber. Even if there's two seals, it doesn't work. Rabbi Yechon says, Rabbi Yechon says two seals works. The Tavayo Kerabanan, both of them are following the Rabbanan. Now, the Rabbanan said that you need to have one seal isn't enough. You need two seals. So why does one person say two seals also? So Mar Savar, one opinion holds Kipli Rabbanan the Rabbanas b'cheisim echad. When did the Rabbanan argue with Rabbi Lazar? That's with one seal. But two seals, Sharu, they allowed. Mar Savar, the other opinion holds, I feel cheisim asri. They argued, they said that none of it works. Rabbi Lazar was very lenient. The Rabbanan were very strict. How do you get a seal with another seal? Amarava agna de puma de chavisa. What you did was you took a bowl, you put it over the mouth of the barrel, and then you sharika the chasima. You then smeared it with plaster or with pitch, and then you sealed it. So the cover on it plus the seal, that's a double seal. You lie. If you don't do it like that, that's not considered double. Dikula is another type of container. Mahadik, you put it on and you attach it firmly. That's considered a double seal. Lay mahadik, if it's not firmly attached, nud bidiskaya. If you have a small flask in a larger flask, kasimas piv lamata. It means if you put it in like upside down, so then that's considered sealed. Piv lamaila, if both openings are sticking right up, the opening of the bag and the opening of the flask is all up, facing upwards. That's not considered doubly sealed. But if you bend over the mouth and then you tie it and you seal it, I guess it had like a lip that you could bend over on the flask. The way they seal some containers, you have to fold it over and then tie it. For things that they use in the water, they roll it up and they tie it. So that's chesem techesem. Tanarabanan, it was taught in a brayso. B'Rishayna Yomrim, Yayin shel Ein Kushi asim pnei bira srika. The city of Ein Kushi was a place where the Kutim were, the Samaritans. Now the Samaritans did not pour wine for idols, but they lived near the place called Bira Srika, where they did pour wine for idols. Problem is that you can't get wine from Ein Kushi because they live very close to the people that do, and they weren't so careful to keep it separate and all of that. Shel Barkasa, also Barkasa has a similar problem. It's also Bnei Kfar Parshoy because of the other place that's near it. Shel Zagdor, also Bnei Kfar Shalem. I have a sefer at home. It's about a ban that they had on people that lived along the Rhine. Apparently, there was a time in history when there was nothing that they could drink except for wine. They couldn't drink the water. They didn't have other fruit juices. The only thing they could drink was wine. And the Yidden over there drank the non-kosher wine. There was a ban on not to allow any Rabbanim to come from this place. It was called Dimyon Aryeh. That was the name of the sefer. Dimyon Aryeh. I have it at home.
Where was it?
Along the Rhine, one in France, and Spain, those areas, they couldn't. There was nothing to drink.
No wine.
No, there was nothing other than wine to drink. The only thing they could drink was
They didn't
wine.
have water?
The water was not healthy. They couldn't drink the water. The only thing that people drank was wine. And that's all, people lived there. That was the only thing they could have was wine. Yeah, but they said that you can't take Rabbanim, you can't hire Rabbanim from there. That was in this Sefer. Sefer. They were going back like 400 years, 400 years, and that was what was going on. Anyway, so here we're talking about there's wines, you can drink, you can't drink it. This city, that city. Then they said afterwards, Chavis Psuches Asuris. The person that printed the Sefer, he just passed away last year. It was Shalom Jacobs. He published a lot of Svarim. That were lost. He published them. I don't know, 30 Svarim or something. A lot of Svarim. He would get manuscripts and work on them. And, he was a lawyer. He wasn't. I think he was a lawyer. Yeah. His father was a lawyer. His father's alive. He passed away. His son passed away. Anyway, he did a lot of good work. Then they said that the barrels that are opened, those are the ones that are a problem. But stumais mutaris. But if the barrels are closed, then you don't have to worry about it. You can buy from those cities, even though the goyim are nearby. Mikara myself will safe myself. What was the logic originally, and what was the logic? Why did they switch? Mikara savar ein kuti makbar al magoy with kavim. They said that the kuti doesn't care if a guy touches it, leishna psuchas, leishna stumas, whether it's open or whether it's closed. So we're concerned that the goyim are going to come and they're going to touch the wine. So we said you can't drink from the kutim because the kutim aren't careful. Go to a kuti store, Samaritan marketplace, and the goyim are in there touching the wine. But then they said, when do the Samaritans, the kutim, allow the goyim to touch the wine? That's only if the barrel's been opened already. But astumas mikwid kapid, but they're careful. Astumas mutaris want to say that it's permissible if the barrels are closed. But tanan, but it was minhi, but it was have a contradiction. It says you send wine in the hands of a kuti, for sure in the hands of an idolater. Or if you send Tzir Vishal Murias. Tzir is a brine, fish brine, and Murias is not just a fish brine, but it's the fish caviar, like the insides of the fish. It's another type of brine. So if you recognize the seal and it was sealed, then mutter. But if you don't recognize the seal, then it's asr. You're telling me now that if it's sealed, it's automatically mutter. Now we're saying it's not just if it's sealed, it's mutter. You have to also recognize it to be mutter. Zara says no. In the city, it's going to be mutter with a seal. But on the road, then you have to recognize it.
The previous example, the kuti doesn't want to mess up his profits. Like if once the barrel's open, probably.
Right. So he wants the closed barrels to be perfect, to be able to sell them to the Jews. Right. Now we're saying that if he's in the city, he's going to be more careful that no one should see it, no one should touch it, because otherwise people are going to not buy from him. But if he's on the road, then we have a concern. He doesn't. Maybe he let people touch it. The Gemara says, "Maskefla Rabbi Yirmiyah midi hanach be'ir lebederach." I don't get it. He says all of these things that you're so careful about on the road, and in the city you're not careful. But guess what? Before it got to the city, it was on the road. So you have to. You should be concerned that maybe he let it touch it before it got here. Rabbi Yirmiyah benagita shenino. Rabbi Yirmiyah says it's a different answer, talking about this that we said. That when it's sealed, it's permissible. That's in the time when they're bottling. There's a lot of people around, and they see Kolialma apchi mirtas, because since everyone is around, so they're concerned that no one should see the way they do this, and they have it. They don't let anyone touch it. Amar, he says, Hashti chazili mapsadli. People are going to see that they let the non-Jews touch it. They won't be able to sell it. Itmar. A new Gemara, a statement of Amirayim, which is usually a machlekes. Neima asru sheichar shalev dekechavim. Why are you not allowed to drink beer from a non-Jew, from an idolater? Rami Bar Chama is like it's a given that you're not allowed to drink beer. It's a decree. You can't drink beer from.
No more Sam Adams.
No more Samuel Smith. Guinness.
Microbreweries.
Yeah.
Right?
How do you know if something's a microbrewery or a macrobrewery? How do you know that?
One,
Price.
I think that means
Price.
just a local brewery.
Yes.
No, I thought it meant like a local brewery, like you go and you see, oh, we do our own thing, you see the bats, as opposed to companies. big
Right.
Companies. I thought that was the.
Yeah, but how do you know if it's a big company or a small company? You go in.
Because you go
in.
into Publix and you see the,
Look at the
the
prices.
micros,
What
they
makes
don't distribute them in
Oh, I
stores.
think
It's
they
like
do.
John Headhunter's beer. It's probably micro.
Uh-huh.
This Budweiser.
I don't know.
What
Ich
makes
bin
the
nicht
difference
dabei,
is
maybe.
production. If this company makes 1,000, the other one makes millions
Well,
per year,
yeah.
the amount of production is what makes a
So you have to
Okay,
Google
I
each one.
Hold
And you go
on.
in.
And then the smaller companies, they
Big
call it
zero.
craft beer. Because they're like more like
Also, it would say a
Microbrewery
craft
and
beer if it's a microbrewery.
This is more expensive.
Okay, so why is it
that
also?
right?
Huh?
Under 15,000 barrels per year is a microbrewery. But it's usually for local markets.
Put it this way,
Uh-huh.
your beer would have been a micro.
nano.
He, by the way, he had a fantastic beer that all the Surfside places were trying to get there.
Who's this?
I made beer and I got a call from
Backyard barbecue.
Backyard Barbecue if I could make beer for them. And,
So you just sold them the recipe.
no, I said I'm not doing it.
You can't make building. The beer is in the beard. Right, get it?
I don't know if that advertisement would have sold very well. The beard is in the beer.
No, the beer is in spell beard and
I know.
spell beer.
Beard and beer
Oh
usually.
no, I'm spelling beer wrong. I'm spelling this beer like this.
Okay, so what's the reason why it's us? Rami Bar Chama B'Yitzchak Mishum Chasnas. There's a concern you may marry the brewer's daughter.
Ah,
that this comes up.
Reb Nachman Mishum Gilei.
do it again. You have any daughters last time?
They say this with the challah, not to buy challah from
Bread.
Oh,
Bread. Bread. It doesn't have to do with bread. So Reb Nachman Mishum Gilei. Nachman says no, it's because it's exposed. Gili demai, what do you mean, Gili? Ilam Gili de Nezaisa, are you worried about that the barrel, the vat was open? Ananamigalin, we also leave the vat open. El de Chavisa, we're talking about the barrel. It says Ananamigalin, we also leave the barrel open. Leitricha Ba'asra de Maslamaya, no, the concern is that when they use water, that they let it sit, and they use that water for later for the fermenting of the beer, that's going to be a problem. Almeata, if that's the case, Yashan Tishtere, once the beer ages, then it should be permissible. Damar Rebbe, I guess, Yashin Mutter says that if there was venom from a snake in it, then it wouldn't age. It would spoil before it gets old. So once it gets old, we know that there's no venom in it. There's Eimenichal Yashin. They're not leaving it to age. It says Hichmitz Mutter. Once it ferments, it should be permissible. The same minichlachmix, not letting it ferment, or maybe it means turn into vinegar. Just sour. This says ein minichal lachmix. They're not letting it ferment. Gezeira yashen atu chadash. There's a decree that the old wine, if the old wine is permissible, you may end up drinking. No, not the old wine. The old beer, you may end up drinking the new beer. We allow it, so we don't want to have like, oh, this you have to check the label, the microbrewery, the macrobrewery, the thing, and all that stuff gets confusing. He said you can't have beer from a non-Jew. Rav
More
Papa,
aged it is, more potent.
oh yeah, all right. Rav Papa mafkinin le la'abava the chanusa v'shasi. When Rav Papa would have beer from a non-Jew, he would take it outside. Take it outside the store. Wouldn't drink it at the bar. Go outside the front door. Rav Acha would take it home. Both of them were only concerned about marrying the daughter. They wouldn't drink it in the store. Rav Achai was more careful. He even took it home. Rav Shmuel bar Bisna kloy Marguan. This is Rav Shmuel bar Bisna. He came to the place called Marguan. And over there, the Jewish people were not careful with their wine. They would have non-Jewish wine. They brought him wine, he didn't drink. He didn't drink the beer either. I get why he doesn't drink the wine. Because maybe it has something, shimtza means like there's a trace of non-kosher wine there. What's the concern about the beer? The trace of a trace, which means not that there may be a drop of wine in it, but if we're going to allow the beer, maybe we'll allow the wine. So they made a decree: beer, wine, any of those alcoholic drink. Amar Rav, Hayshikra Dharma Shari. Beer from an Aramean, a non-Jew, is permissible. But Chia, my son, shouldn't drink from it. What does he say there? Hillel showing me from the Ben Ish Chai, Maseches Avodah Zarah 31b, we find that the Arami man drank water which was not covered, which contained venom from snakes and did not die. They also ate rodents, reptiles, but no outward ill effects. The Jew, however, must be careful regarding items that Chazal warned us about. This is coming up in the Gemara. Yeah. Very nice.
Very nice.
Okay. Let's take a look at this. He says, Chia, my son, should not drink from it. So the Gemara asks, Manafshach, what do you want? Like, which way do you want to take this? Ishari, if it's permissible, L'kol Yalma Shari, then it should be permissible also for Chia, his son. Iyasir, if it's prohibited, L'kol Yalma Asir, then it should be prohibited for everyone. Why is it only prohibited for Chia? El Rav, Savr Mishum Giluya, Rav wasn't concerned about the yayin nesach, he was concerned about the venom. V'azal merura de kishusa v'kalile zire. The dalki malki leitfei. Dalki malki leitfei. So udalaki malki leitfei. That's how you read it. What happened is that we're concerned that maybe the snake drank from it. However, the beer has hops, and the hops, the bitterness of the hops, eats away at the venom of the snake. However, if someone is weak, then it can affect him. My son has a weak constitution. He shouldn't drink from it because it could harm him. Omer Shmuel, they think that the reason why children don't like to eat fish and those types of vegetables that have like that flavor is because if it would have gone bad, it would affect the child more. So for evolutionary things, they think that the taste buds of the child to protect them are stronger. That's why they don't like the fish, because it would harm. An adult, it wouldn't harm. The Darwin stuff. They think that it like that helped them survive.
Fish sticks, so they'll eat fish sticks.
Yeah, they love fish.
It's the kesha.
Right.
There's no fish on the I don't know if it's true or not. Say cats know if the fish is like good or not.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well,
But they won't eat it. I mean, they don't eat it.
That's what they say. That's what they say.
I wouldn't eat fish steak.
No, if you catch a fish and it's questionable,
I
Generally,
wouldn't
they,
eat the
yeah.
cat either.
no, you get it.
I would eat the fish that the cat did eat.
I wouldn't eat the cat that the fish is eating.
Catfish.
Omer Shmuel.
I wouldn't eat the catfish fish.
Shmuel says, Kol hashrotzim yesh lameres. All the insects, they all have venom. Shel nachash, the only thing is the venom of a snake meimis. Shel shratzim ain't a meimis, but of the other insects it doesn't kill. Amalei Shmuel Chia Barav, the Chia Barav that we're talking about, that was Rav said about his son Chia. He tells him, he says, Bar Arya, son of a lion. I want to tell you something that your father said. Your father Rav. This is what your father said. Hani Armoy Zukani. These bloated Arameans, this is what Yael was showing, that they drink from the open, exposed things and they don't die from it. That's not a proof to us. Because because they eat those creeping, insects, so their body gets warm and it eats it, and it takes away the. It's an antidote. It burns up the venom, and that's why they can survive. People that wanted to allow smoking. My father told me this. But, Rabbi Jacobowitz, that he would say that the test that they did was on the Goyim. And the Yidden, it doesn't harm. A Yid has a different body. But I wouldn't try it at home.
Medical doctor.
Amar Rav Yosef says, "Hay chalad the shichra darma aser." The vinegar of the beer, of the Aramean beer, is prohibited. The ma'arvi bei dudaya the ayinesach, because they add in it the dregs of the ayinesach into the vinegar. Amar Rav Ashi u'meyotzer shari. If it's from a storage, that means I guess it was made to last a long time. That would be permissible. Why? Given the ma'arvi bei misri sari, once they add that in, it would go bad. And that was only for like what they served right now, they could add it in. But if they wanted to store it, they wouldn't do that. So therefore, that should be permissible. So let's leave the Gemara here.
Oh, we just started.
So
We just started.
one daf
One not behind it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Bye,
Okay.
Moshe.
Take care, guys.
Okay. Have a good day, everyone. Shabbat tov.